What's up, Rockstars? I got another news video for you. There are some mega campaigns. Millions of dollars are being funded right now. So I'm going to be talking about that. It'll be the first time I'm talking about some of these. So it's going to be huge. Some of the long-awaited blockbusters I just talked about, they're here now. There's some reprisals of some stuff that was canceled the first time. They're back. And of course, we're going to end on a little bit of drama. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. All right, let's just zip through this and do it super quick. So this is BattleTech Mercenaries, $4.5 million. $4.5 million. So 23 days to go. They funded super huge, super quick, $16,962. Or 62 backers have been involved now, and it's just going to go increase. Now, one of the reasons it got so high is if you scroll down here, you're going to see some maxed out big ones here. Look at this, 5,000. That was only 500, 5,000 and 5,000. That was locked at 20 backers per, and that's both of them did that. They're going to be getting stuff for years. So they're going to get 2 of everything. And then it's like at least 28 free pack mercenaries. Just as they make them, they're going to be sending them like every month kind of thing. It's going to be a ton of stuff that those people are going to get. But there's plenty of other stuff to go around. Now, a few things about this. Very popular following when it comes to the IP. It's actually a very kind of unsung hero underdog thing. They've been around for like 30 plus years. So a big IP, first of all, that just doesn't get quite the news headlines and everything else, but there's definitely fans there. The gameplay, again, tried and tested, and there's a lot of different ways to play this game. Feel free to check out all the different things you can do with your minis and cards and stuff once you get them. So that's super cool as well. It is also a bit pricey, especially for the kind of the stuff that you're getting. And we'll kind of talk about that briefly. But just as an FYI, I always like to go towards the old ones and see, okay, what's the difference? So first of all, we went from 11,000 backers to 16,000 backers, almost 17, and it's going to increase even more than that. So definitely doing better than before, which means people are liking what they're getting. So people who got BattleTech Clan Invasion, they're enjoying it. They want more. That's super cool. I assume a lot of those are repeat backers. Always a good sign. It shows that there's like something there, right? It's not just one of those Kickstarter games you sit on your shelf and then never play again. Now, one thing to note, however, is these comments are full of still some issues. Now, it's actually quite mild-mannered. There's not really a lot of upset people, but there are people that still have not gotten their stuff. They still haven't sent everything. And in fact, some of the stuff that people backed, like being able to be incorporated as a person or like in the game, they've actually even been doing like buybacks to like refund it, because as far as they're concerned, what one backer said is they may do it over the next few decades, like because there's too many people backed it. They're super slow when it comes to that. Just spend your money wisely, because that's all I'm saying. Buy what you want and what you think you'll get in between now and whatever their next Kickstarter is, because this is now their second one. There is probably going to be a third. There's obviously following for it. Don't feel like you have to drop a ton of money to get a whole bunch of stuff that may or may not come by the time the other campaign actually comes. Also, they were seeing sales like at Barnes & Noble for cheaper. Just be smart. Do your research. There's a lot here, a lot to love, a lot to enjoy, and I'm sure it's great. Just kind of be mindful of that. I love how it's right here. It's all about the minis. They love their minis. They're smaller scale, like these mech kind of fights, but they're not like these like big things. They're not like Chaos Titans or anything like that from Warhammer, right? These are definitely smaller scale, and you'll have a lot of them. And speaking of which, as much as you'll have on this, first of all, the fact that they launched this campaign during Adepticon while Adepticon was going, smartest move ever. If you're doing a tabletop war game, now is the time to do that. You can be right there at Adepticon. You can convert people that see your game or see your booth and like it, or play a session and like it, directly into a buying customer through the Kickstarter, just like that. So super smart and easy to do. And they're double dipping, I'm sure, too, because again, they have stuff before. You see some of the designs are there's a lot of different variety of mechs, actually. This mercenary box right here is $80. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea here. This comes with 12 minis, and again, these are kind of the smaller minis like that. A lot of them, like these like tank things, are pretty much just one cast, from what I can tell. There's not a whole lot of different parts to them and stuff like that. So they're cheaper to make. That doesn't mean they look cheap. It just means the design of them is easy to manufacture at a large scale in a Chinese factory somewhere. But yeah, this is $80 for 12 of these, and you get like 99 support cards and reference sheets and 24-page rule book and stuff like or 32-page rule book, right? Stuff like that. So you're getting a decent amount here, but it's not like it's nothing crazy. Not for $80. Now, $80 is cheaper than what we get a lot of times on Kickstarter, but this is definitely a smaller package than what a lot of things we get on Kickstarter. But you also can have a whole bunch of force packs, and there are a ton. They typically have about 5 minis in them, but sometimes more, sometimes... Actually, I don't know if they have any less than... yeah, right there's 4. So it depends on the size of them often, how much they expect you to field and stuff like that, and there are a ton. There's all sorts of other stuff, tokens and shirts, and you can see them all here. And for the most part, actually looks like a pretty good deal, especially for a tabletop game. But definitely not on the cheap side either. So yeah, a lot of stuff to get here. So feel free to take a look at everything. It's a ton. It's just a massive amount of stuff, as you can see. And you can definitely spend it as well. Oh, those 5,000 ones, and they're unlocking stuff to buy. Is essentially your stretch goals there. So don't expect too much in the form of that. They're just allowing you to spend more money, which is always kind of a bummer. But you know what? They're doing great. So they must be doing something right. Those big ones, by the way, also come with like VIP invites to like cons to play with the devs and stuff like that too. It's not just minis. All right, next up we have the Walking Dead Universe RPG. I covered this before. I just want to show they're hovering a little under 500,000, so 8 days to back, so about a week. Once you see this video, over 5,000 backed. They started actually doing, last time I showed you that they are having some really cool sets like the Nobody or the Criminal. Well, they started doing stuff like Michonne, where it's like, oh yeah, you can just play as a pre-generated character Michonne, stuff like that. So they have a lot of that kind of stuff coming out, which I think is super smart. Use the IP, it's what people want. And I bet there's a lot of fun to be had there. Next up, we have Gangs of Rome, a 28mm skirmish game. Again, very smart to be running it right now. And actually, it's doing fairly well too, 65,000. Now, this is one thing to note here is it's 28mm. First of all, they need to update that picture. It's not coming soon anymore. But anyway, 28mm, so it's a little bit shorter and smaller than most of the games I cover. It's actually quite tiny. And it's also, especially at that size, it's very much designed like miniatures used to be very common in like the early aughts, 90s, around that time, where if you notice people have much larger heads and hands. A lot of people call these heroic scale, something like that, because the minis are smaller and they needed to get the detail, especially back when it was metal minis, they would do a lot of that kind of stuff. But these look very competently made, and if you like that old style, you're going to get a lot of these. But they look like old Reaper Bones minis to me, design-wise. About the game, I don't know. I'm not playing it, but it definitely looks actually cooler than I thought it was. Normally when people do Rome stuff, they're doing like Colosseum stuff. But if you look down here, you're going to see, right here, look at this. Look at this, the streets of Rome. They got actually different buildings that you can kind of build and kit out, and they look quite nice, actually. I assume they're probably like MDF or something like that. I'm not sure exactly if it's just really hard cardboard or what, but either way, it looks cool there, and they're doing quite well. Maladum is also doing extremely well, 3,500, still a week to go. Over $600,000 raised. They have added a few new things as well. Actually, quite a few. So one of the things, and I'm glad they listed up here. So I ended right here last time. So as you can see, they've added universal quests. They've done a hidden location system, 2 new heroes, another enemy, and a whole lot of like treasure stuff and different tokens and stuff like that. They've also added an add-on that adds a bit of green to it, which is kind of cool. I like that. And a big old mini too. So this guy right here, the Corruptor, you can kind of see right here, $40. Will get you that ish, right? The conversion fees and all that. Plus some like mimic looking kind of stuff here. And as you can see, all these tiles have like overgrown green stuff to it, which is a nice palette cleanse there. Now they've also done a sewer set, a little bit cheaper, 22, and that's because it doesn't have any of the minis or whatever. Notice this exact contents to be determined kind of stuff here. It also reverses as a lava thing. They're essentially, they have these sets and they're crafting like quests and events and stuff like that to match those, but it's very much a work in progress. I actually really appreciate the fact that they say that. I've recently harped on other campaigns for not really being as upfront about their progress. And they could have easily have pretended to be like, oh, this is what you're getting, and it's pretty much done. No, obviously they are very much still working on this. Keep that in mind when you back them. And then, of course, the Great Hall and all that kind of stuff they have going on, too. They also allow you to get extra minis, which does change it. It's like the event card. Zombicide has done that to allow you to keep spawning things. And more players can play now, too. You can add their like dashboard and tokens and stuff needed for that. So a lot of stuff here definitely have progressed quite well. Now, Townsfolk Tussle has 790,000, which doesn't sound like it's that much more. Actually, the fact that it's almost 800,000, fantastic. And again, a little bit over a week to go. But look at the amount of backers. This is a cheaper game. So it's just harder to spend more money on this. 6,254 backers here. So like almost double. Almost double. Not quite, but almost double. And I recently did a play session. I tried out 2 players with Game Brigade, Brian's channel. So if that's posted, I'll go and link to it down in the description below. You can kind of see me fail at that. But it was still a lot of fun, and I will be having a review for that. It might actually even be my next video, so stay tuned for that. I needed a little bit more time. Maybe I'll get that tonight. With especially the gear sets and stuff like that. I want to look into that a bit more too. But anyway, yeah, very well liked game. There's a lot of like extra stuff you can get here. There's stretch goals. Finally, a good one. Look at this. You can get the Tartar bait switch mini into a premium 3D token, essentially, right? A little miniature. That's super cool. You actually interact with us a lot. You're constantly pulling in that. That's actually who we fought is Tartar there. So you can see kind of how he plays. Very interesting. Next up, we have Hexplore, Fall of the Ancients. I'm not going to cover this too much. 200,000, 1,877 backers. The reason I'm not going to cover too much is because I just don't know what to talk about. This is kind of interesting because first of all, they have a big thing on spoilers where they're just trying not to spoil too much, which also means that you're not really you really kind of have to dig into stuff to get the information. Additionally, they typed out a freaking novel here. You can see the just this over here. This would take me like 4 hours and multiple chapters. I need a digital bookmark to read all of this. This is just a ton of stuff. Like, I appreciate that it's here. I think it's super cool, but this is very text heavy. There's a lot here. And I don't have that much time to spend on one thing that I'm probably not going to back. Doesn't mean you can't back it. I'm sure you will love it if you do. It looks like it's a well-crafted game that definitely focuses on story and events, which I think is super cool. But feel free to check this out. They do have 2060s left, so a ton. And if you want to share some information about it, because you read it or previously backed it or anything like that, feel free to share it down in the comments below. Next up, we're swapping over to the Humble Bundle site recently, or just now, because I wanted to cover this. I think I did before, but guys, for like real cheap here, like this is not bad. $25, you get 46 RPG books. These are RPG, like tabletop RPG books for Warhammer 40k. Now, what's really interesting about this is, I don't know if you've ever looked at an RPG book. I don't even play tabletop RPGs. I love collecting their books because they're just so full of lore and knowledge and information. If you want to dive into the 40k world, these would be fantastic for that. You would learn so much. It'd be a lot of fun, and it's just a darn good deal. And give a little bit to charity too. Super cool. All right. The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. Yes, it took this long to get to this. This is out now. Like, this is huge. So feel free, again, link down in the description below to all of this. Check it out. See how many millions they've made. And join the rest of us, I guess. This is going to be really, really big. Like, guaranteed. There's no chance this is not going to fail. The reason it's on Kickstarter or in this Gamefound, crowdfunding in general, is because Chip Theory Games likes to do super premium stuff and work directly with you guys. But that doesn't mean they're not going to have a healthy kind of system behind this. I mean, it's going to explode. There's nothing else to it. And in my next news video, we'll cover what's going on with it. The Thinning Veil is relaunching. Recall, I was super pumped about this. Like, the moment I saw this art and some of the minis, I was like, this looks amazing. And then I saw it and I was kind of cooled on it a little bit, just because it didn't seem like it stood out enough. It seemed like it did a lot of the stuff that my other stuff does. And with how the campaign was kind of run and stuff like that, I had some worries that a big game like this, it's really expensive to produce and make and send out, would have a lot of bumps along the way. So between those two, I didn't. However, they're coming back with a lot more information. I'm sure some new videos and stuff like that I think are in store. So we'll be checking it out and see how they do there. Next up, we also have D.E.I. This is a reprint and expansion. Now, Lose Mana Studio was just featured on a quite negative video of mine, and that's because they like to launch a lot of campaigns, deliver extremely slowly, and the games aren't quite the top tier that I think they could be. Reminds me of a lot of Mythic games in that sense, where it's like, you guys could, like, you're so close, right? And that's how I felt with, like, Black Rose Wars. D.E.I. I actually quite enjoy, but again, it's one of those things where it's just not quite, like, on everybody's, you know, like, list of, like, this is, like, super amazing, my favorite game kind of thing. So anyway, it's coming back, and they're going to have more here. Just, again, back responsibly. Back at knowing that you might get the reprint quickly, maybe. I can't even promise that. The expansion will take some time. It took them like a bajillion years from the prototype to get it to our doors. So just be patient. Clank Legacy 2 is coming, and again, this is going to be big as well. There's already almost 4,000 here for it. When it comes to Legacy, I tend to stay away, but a lot of people are going to like this. The minis look like a ton of fun. I especially like this kind of like shorter lady here with the pigtails. I don't know if it's a halfling person or something like that. They look like a dwarf maybe. I don't know. They look pretty cool. So yeah, just it's Penny Arcade stuff, so it's just fun. Next up, Gwen is a new gaming table by Geek and Son. It's kind of their new thing with the LEDs and stuff like that, and you know, the attachment rail system and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot here, and if you like do it early, you actually get the LED for free, which is pretty cool. I will be having a Geek and Son table shipped here soon, where I can actually go over the quality and see what it's like, and I'll let you guys know. Of course, you'll probably see it behind me for a while there as well. So I'll let you guys know. And if you want more information, there is actually a sign up separate from this where you can actually get a lot more information than something that's just like this. So if you want to kind of plan ahead when it comes to what things you might want and stuff like that, this is probably where to go for that. All right, next up, Descent Legends of the Dark, the Betrayer's War expansion. This is going to be big. It's going to be huge, and it's coming in the fall this year. So it's going to be really, really big. Let's go in and go to the, and again, this is all linked down below. Here's a kind of a snapshot of it. The terrain looks like a lot of fun for sure. The mini, of course, is really cool. Having his wing go up like that is a nice trick to make him seem larger than he already is, which of course is pretty neat. It does look smaller. They even the fake box they have is smaller. Much appreciated, of course. It is definitely an expansion, so FYI on that. But I know a lot of you guys are going to love it, and it does continue the story. It's not like a separate thing. At least that's what they're teasing it as here. This is like the next step there. So if you enjoyed the first one, this is definitely one to pick up and look. It looks like it's going to be all quality stuff, just like the one before when it comes to the terrain, the minis, stuff like that. Next up, we have Ascendancy. I just saw an advertisement for this. It's some 4X game, but it does seem like there's interaction, like where you can like attack other players and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of those kind of 4X games where it focuses. I don't know if I want to say focuses, but there's definitely going to be a lot of extermination, as it were. So that'll be kind of cool. It looks like it has a pretty neat mini. There definitely have sculpted bases and stuff like that. I'll be on the lookout for this. I don't know when it's coming, but I will do some more research. If you know anything about it, you can let us know down below. Gamefound's doing something super cool. This is a currency conversion thing. Now, what are they doing? First of all, they're handling the conversion and charging kind of a flat 2.3% on top of whatever the rate is. So when you back it, you can see exactly how much you're going to be charged. There's no like surprise fee afterwards. Super appreciate that. The big thing here is this. They will do the refunds in the exact same rate that you put it in as. Often, sometimes you can come out ahead, you usually come out behind, where you backed it for this amount, but then when you get the refund, you actually lose money on that because the conversion rate's different. It's a stronger conversion or something like that. So this means that you get back what you put in. Super cool. Really glad to see that, and glad Gamefound continues to do little things like this to make our lives as backers just a little bit easier. And finally, a little bit of drama for you guys, just as a clarification, as a kind of a wrap up here. Censorship, usually pretty dumb. So I was doing a list where I was talking about, hey, these were like rough campaigns with really bad updates. And I mentioned Village Attacks and the Grim Dynasty version of it. And that was based off of that and the Everrain and all this other stuff where it was just a big issue. That hasn't been an update since last year, like not even towards the end of last year on that one. So just not a lot of information. Everybody's kind of left with like, are we going to get a game? Probably not by the looks of it. One of the creators there decided to jump ship and start his own thing, and like not apologize. Doesn't seem sorry at all. Doesn't really care. In fact, he thinks he did a great job with the game that you don't gonna get. I guess he's the only one that knows because they're not delivering. But he did that so somebody posted my video there just to say, hey, FYI, this is an association there, and he refunded it to delete the comment because he can control that part of his little world where he can try and make it to where people don't know about his past and what he's been associated with and how he acts around it. But it's still here, so he can't block this. Anyway, guys, it's not a major thing. I just wanted to share that anytime there's somebody in the industry, especially a creator, that's trying to take your voice away, I want to make sure to give you guys a platform for that voice. So Sky Knight, he may be able to silence you, but you know what? A lot more people just saw your comment than ever would have on his little dice tower thing or whatever it is. So congratulations on that. Anyway, that's it. That's all I had. If you guys have any other information on anything I covered, anything I didn't cover, let me know down below. This is a very community-driven channel. These videos are for you guys and driven by a lot of what you have. I bring a lot to the tables when it comes to my opinions or different things that catch my eye or some insider stuff I can get, like details videos or stuff like that. But for a large part, you guys want to see something? Let me know. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a great one.